welcome to WeTV Clips. Yes, this is another video and we are very grateful to see you all. To the returning subscribers and to the new viewers, I'm saying thank you and welcome on WeTV Clips channel. You know how we do it, guys. If this is the first time of being on this channel, please watch our videos, like, comment and share. Thank you so much for your encouragement and for always being there. Yeah, this is the very final episode of the Untamed. Yeah! Guys, let's rejoice. Ooh. Let's talk about character slaying. For me, it's a check. Both lead actors did a great job with their roles. I don't think anyone could have played it any better. No. According to the story, Wei Wuxian is an intelligent, bright, optimistic, compassionate, is heroic, he stands for the truth, mischievous, but very good-hearted cultivator whose intelligence and strength lies more in his ability to invent new spiritual techniques and the inventions not defined by the conventional cultivation methods of the society. This was one of Xiao Zhan's major first lead. As an actor in China, most of them either goes through acting school. Xiao Zhan just came into the limelight through a music contest, and the next thing he was able to feature in some dramas, movies. The first major role he really did was The Untamed, which brought him to a major limelight. Xiao Zhan was able to interpret his role so perfectly, he put himself into the core of the role. Practically due to this, he is now seen as Wei Wuxian. He's more or less like he customized the name for himself. It will be very difficult for people to forget him in a long while. Once you see Xiao Zhan, the first thing that comes to your mind is Wei Wuxian. His portrayal of the carefree and unrestrained Wei Wuxian, the darker and tormented Yilin patriarch, gained him a huge fan base who got so awed by his performance. It felt and seemed so real, which led to the series' rise in popularity. Wang Yibo as Lan Wangji is also known as Lan Zhan in The Untamed. At some point, they gave him the title of Jun. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it well. In this series, he did a great job with his character. It might be very difficult to express love and romance without being practically all over the other party, sexually or otherwise. Lan Wangji was able to express his soul-rending passion through his different facial expression and sometimes his service to protect his love come what may. He is a man of little words. But even with him having minimum speech presence, he has the maximum expression and action presence all through the series. As a spectator, you would wonder when they would eventually go crazy all over each other. This feels like watching an inflamed Victorian melodrama from the medieval period. With Lan Wangji pledging his undying love to Wei Wuxian, we just take off to a smile. Or act of service, it's indeed interesting to watch. The other actors as well did a great job. They all did so perfectly. In some scenes, you would actually see some discrepancies, of course, of the actors. I'm going to take a good example from that of Jian Cheng with his mom in an emotional scene. He didn't really take that scene so perfectly. But then, we all have different ways to portray our feelings, right? I see this part as a comic relief. Talking about comic relief, the story was also fun to watch. There are some very funny scenes where you laugh your heads off. Very interesting story. The Untamed is known to be one of the best drama series of 2019. It was very, very popular. Yeah, I came late. I didn't watch it on time, but here I am singing its praise. Now we're going to talk about the spoilers. Spoilers. I would think that the production ran out of budget, so some scenes don't add up. Neither were the expectations very great, because in some scenes you have some very high expectation of what to expect, but eventually it is being watered down. I would make an example from the crappy CGI from the first episode, which is rather not clear enough as it is very confusing. I'm going to talk about the scene where they were fighting, where Wei Wuxian threw his Stygian amulet into the crowd and everybody was fighting. That scene was so unreal, like it doesn't really even make sense. You as a spectator watching for the first time, you are so lost. What is going on? Confusion everywhere. Just in case you don't know what CGI means, CGI is computer-generated imagery, something like special visual effects created using computer softwares to form or manipulate an imagery that feels like you're watching something that is real, but it doesn't really exist. The CGI is always common in different C-dramas, needless repetitions, underdeveloped CGIs, stuff that are not synchronized. Also, it might be difficult to get the names and clans right. I think this is almost common in Chinese dramas. The protagonist, who is Wei Wuxian, has more than 5 to 6 names. Also, all the actors actually bear 1 or 2 names. His brother also have like 2-3 names, like so many. That's quite confusing for somebody that is probably not used to Chinese language, just watching Chinese movies for the first time.
And it will be difficult for the viewers not to get confused about one person bearing so many names.
And that is why I put up a video where you meet the cast and understand their roles,
their names, their clans, the colors, the emblems. The video is a detailed explanation of what the Untamed is all about.
You can check in my videos. For me, the series started as rather confusing. You wonder what is going on in the first 2 episodes. It started 16 years in the future.
And after episode 2, there was a flashback into
16 years before that. It went back and forth in time with tons of players,
where that crappy CGI just happens to hit you on a different level. What I'm trying to say is with the CGI effect and how it just bounced back and forth
between your eyes. But you know what? As the story goes on, you quickly appreciate the dive into the story rather than spending several less hours on setup.
Still on flashback, the producers used a lot of flashback in the series. They started with the future, went back into the past, and then present with the kids. Then they were in a flashback as from episode 3 to episode 34. For me, that is a wowza.
The real series started in episode 3. I would say that was when the story really began. I almost lost hope in episode 2, for real. But something urged me on. I'm happy I did not relent. I would have been missing out on such a very wonderful drama. So this is me encouraging anyone that is just about to watch The Untamed. Don't quickly jump into conclusions. I would rather urge you to finish watching the first 2 episodes.
Another spoiler alert is the turtle cave. According to the story, the turtle is a mythical animal that was held down with the yin iron sword. By the time Wei Wuxian was going into the turtle to figure out how best to
go about it,
that was where they showed us this. I would like you guys to see it.
Let's laugh together.
That's where they really used that crappy CGI.
Alright, that place seems like I'm watching a kindergarten movie. It was so funny. Honestly, it was. I was like, okay, let's cut the crap.
I can say they kept me entertained because throughout that scene, I was just laughing my ass off. I just kept wondering if this is how the inside of a real turtle would look like. Aside this, though some scenes might not really add up and might not be greatly expressed due to production setbacks, I still maintain the fact that the story is a great story.
Now let's move on to the Battle of the Zangas.
Okay, I'm talking about the villains. So guys, let's talk about the villains of the Untamed, the nature versus nurture, the protagonist and the antagonist, as they clash with each other at various times.
Towards the end of the story was a very long episode where we have the real truth coming out. There they unravel the real culprit behind all the innocent dead people, and it was the most shocking. The culprit is none other but Meng Yao, the bastard son of Jingguan Shan.
We have repeatedly used the word clan all through the review because that is the expression used to describe an average wuxia organization. The word wuxia is mostly used in a place like a school or a sect where blood relations means nothing, since cultivation is by its own nature decentralized because each family has its own expertise and their own method of cultivation. The end goal for cultivation is achieving immortality. However, in the Untamed, MODAZUSHI, a legitimate relation with a cultivator clan is everything. As in the case of the main villain, Jingguan Yao, who is the illegitimate son of a notorious playboy, Jingguan Shang, leader of the Jin Jin clan of Laling and of the prostitutes
that his father had a one-night stand with. Growing up for him was not a funny life because all his life he was disgraced and shoved and made fun of all the insults and what he has to go through in the hands of his peers. He grew up snatching and coveting for all the good things of life. At every opportunity, he never lets go. He became the very calculating, smart, manipulative being who will use any means to get what he wants.
He had to fight to get recognition. He plotted and twisted all the way to the top. This was when he killed his unsuspecting master Azadin, the leader of the Wang clan, in the Sunshot campaign, snatching the opportunity to shine forth like the fake savior that he is. He was the cable man that his father would use for his dirty works and would force him to do all this work under the threat of being expelled from the Jin clan. During his long confession, he made a good example that he only took advantage of the fact that everyone wants Wei Wuxian dead. Because he is smart, intelligent, and because of the power he commands. He only took advantage of that out of the means for survival, and he stated that he plotted and planned, and everything he did was for the downfall of Wei Wuxian. He expressed that if he hadn't done it, someone else would have, because Wei Wuxian has a whole lot of enemies who envied his power and intelligence. As part of his plot, he used Jian Cheng
as a tool against Wei Wuxian. He was quick to see the disparity between Jian Cheng and Wei Wuxian, which he further elaborated on by poisoning Jian Cheng's mind towards Wei Wuxian.
Meng Yao says he finds himself in this situation due to his past life and his fight for the future. He said that getting a good future after all the pain and shame he was subjected to would be the icing on the cake of being compensated after all the setbacks. He expressed that the most shameful day of his life would be the day he was thrown down a flight of stairs. That was the day he made up his mind to be powerful and to take hold of the Jin clan. He felt oppressed by everybody, by his father, by his sworn eldest brother. He is also very good in manipulating others and playing the victim. He has the pity party card all about him. Being the meanest in the Untamed, with the series of crimes that he had committed both by accident and intentionally, repeatedly gave him the air of the tragic villain who is constantly being talked down on for his low origins and upbringing. Jin Guanyao is the perfect example that shows how hard it is to advance in the cultivation world without a solid background. Why Wei Wuxian had the support of the Jiang family in his education, whereas Jin Guanyao was forgotten and then became the unfavorite of the whole kingdom. The writer of MODAZUSHI constantly presents the book's cultivators as akin to the gentry scholar who is versed in the Chinese 6 arts. This places most cultivators at the top of the social hierarchy in the alternate universe, China. The system does not recognize the broad category of people who fall through the cracks. This set of people are even categorized lower than commoners, people like Jin Guanyao, people like Wei Wuxian, who is the son of a family bondsman and a rogue wandering cultivator. Growing up as a child was a horrible experience for Wei Wuxian until the age of 6. Fate smiled on him when the sect leader Jiang Fengmiao took him in and adopted him as the eldest son of the Jiang clan. Though Wei Wuxian was of the lowest background, but he grew up as an aristocrat thanks to the Jiang family, and even made friends with the creme de la cremes of the society. He was also considered one of the top 4 in the kingdom. I mentioned Jin Guanyao earlier, that's the son of Jin Guanshan, as of the same category with Wei Wuxian, and the third person is Xu Yang, the third villain. All of these 3 people are the so-called villains of the cultivation world: Wei Wuxian, Xu Yang, and Jin Guanyao. Xu Yang, the man that could kill a whole generation for a wrap of sweet. That sounds funny, right? But it's indeed Xu Yang. Xu Yang had a problem when he was a child. When he got his finger yanked off by the clan leader of the sect he was living in because of a wrap of sweet. And even till death, you will see that sweet, aside from all the way he lives his life. there's one thing that actually brightens his day, and that is a wrap of sweet. Xiao Yang was used to illustrate how far Wei Wuxian would have gone as the Yiling patriarch. Xiao Yang is unlike Wei Wuxian, although he chose to follow in Wei Wuxian's footsteps, and he practices in the dark art of neocromancy just like Wei Wuxian. Xiao Yang is a hooligan who is completely opposed to the orthodoxy of the clan. Whenever Xiao Yang gets offended, his comeback is to wipe out a whole community. The massacre of the Snow White Temple and making Songlan go blind is indeed a thing to ponder on. Another shortcoming of Xiao Yang is by fooling Xiao Zhan as an unwitting pawn in his situation. Sorry, I'm not Chinese. I'm trying my best. And turning innocent citizens into living corpses. Studying how to make living zombies makes Xiao Yang seem the greatest villain in the Untamed. But then I will have you all know that Xiao Yang himself is a pawn in Jin Guanyao's story. So why do the righteous clans fawn over Xiao Yang and go after Wei Wuxian instead? Because Xiao Yang has the backing of the Jin clan family, who is the highest hierarchy in the kingdom. Don't forget when I said in my last video that these people would go to any length to pull Wei Wuxian down. And Xiao Yang is their weapon. He is the man they use to get to the in-depth of Wei Wuxian's tricks and power, in comparison to Wei Wuxian, who has no other person to stand for him or probably believe in him, and then died like a chicken without clearing his name, irrespective of his power and fame. Xiao Yang in the story illustrates the glory seeker nature of cultivation's best. Furthermore, Wei Wuxian was the founder, known as the Grandmaster of the Demonic Cultivation, known as the Yiling patriarch. The path of cultivation that he founded was what Xiao Yang was following, giving the ancient Chinese focus of the wisdom of the ancients. Which means Wei Wuxian is the real culprit that they needed to hold on to. So getting rid of the founder of the path would invalidate everything else about the path of the demonic cultivation, which was why so many people aimed for Wei Wuxian, who is well known and a more powerful threat. The Untamed managed to balance many characters and genres and ended up with a decent result. The plot and twist of the story were perfect. It just keeps going into each other like that. Some very great series that you can get lost in are also in the series. Despite all the shortcomings of the series, The Untamed will be nothing less than a 9/10 for me. The Untamed triumphed irrespective of all the setbacks. If you are a fan of queer romance or of lovers pledging their undying love for each other, standing with one another against the world, The Untamed is your movie. If you are looking for an engrossing maze to get lost in, The Untamed is your perfect solution. For those that would better understand the series, you can take it a notch further by reading the web novel for better insights as regards the characters of the male leads and their mutual love, inspiration and affection. As I pointed out earlier in the review, that Tencent was not able to properly project the deep romance between Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji due to the ban of LGBT in China in movies and in TV dramas. Alright guys, we have officially come to the end of the Untamed reviews. I'm signing out on this quote that says, "Nobody can bring you peace but yourself, and remember, peace begins with a smile."
Please leave your comment below and tell us what you think about the review.
If you followed all the reviews we've made on the Untamed so far, thank you so much. We just want to say thank you. Please subscribe, like and comment, share, turn on the notification bell as you see in this video so as to know when we drop a new video. Until next time in the next review, thank you so much. See you later. Cheers.